14.3 million without a single post. Why is Jungkook silent on Threads, and what is he really preparing? Is silence louder than any announcement? When Jungkook of BTS appeared on Threads with a brand new account and gathered 14.3 million followers without posting even one word, one photo, one video, the world didn't just notice, it froze in anticipation. Why would the most watched K-pop star on the planet return to social media only to say nothing? Why would millions rush to follow an empty page? And most dangerously, what does Jungkook know that the world doesn't? Yet, this is not a normal social media story. This is not about a celebrity opening an account. This is about tension, timing, power, and a global audience holding its breath. Because when Jungkook is quiet, history tells us something big is coming. That on January 12th, 2026, in Jakarta and across the global fan network, news broke that Jungkook had returned to Threads using the handle @newst. Within hours, the numbers began to climb in a way that felt unreal. 1 million, 3 million, 6 million, 10 million, 14.3 million followers without a single post.
No caption, no selfie, no hello.
Nothing, just silence. And yet that silence exploded louder than any announcement he could have made. Fans noticed that the account was connected to his main Instagram. They noticed he followed only 8 accounts, including fellow BTS members like Taehyung and RM. They noticed that this wasn't his first time on Threads. Once, he had made an account for his dog Bam, then deleted it. They noticed that in the past, he had deleted an account with more than 50 million followers without explanation. Jungkook has never treated social media like a normal celebrity. Jungkook. Platforms are not diaries. They're stages. And stages are only lit when the show is ready. So the question becomes unavoidable. Why now? Why Threads? And why silence? Some fans believe this is just Jungkook being Jungkook. Unpredictable, playful, mysterious. But others see a pattern forming, a strategy that feels too deliberate to be accidental. Every move he has made in recent years has been connected to something bigger. An album, a tour, a return, a transformation. When he deleted his old account with tens of millions of followers, people thought it was chaos. Later, they understood it was control. Jungkook doesn't chase numbers. Numbers chase him. And when 14.3 million people follow a blank page, that blank page becomes the most powerful billboard in pop culture. ARMY didn't just follow him. They analyzed him. Screenshots of his profile spread across X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Fan accounts like @archiveforjk shared proof that he hadn't posted anything at all. And yet people kept clicking follow like they were lining up outside a closed stadium, convinced that the doors would open at any moment. Because silence, in Jungkook's world, is never empty. IT is loaded. Speculation erupted instantly. Some fans whispered about a BTS comeback. Others talked about a new solo era. Some dreamed of international collaborations with Western superstars. A few even suggested something darker. That Jungkook is planning a reinvention so big that it needs absolute secrecy. Why else would he come back only to disappear again? Think about the psychology of this moment. When an artist posts constantly, fans consume and move on. But when an artist posts nothing, fans imagine everything. Silence becomes a canvas. Every follower paints their own dream on it. This is not passive. This is emotional engineering, and Jungkook has always understood emotion better than most. From his early days as the youngest member of BTS, he carried the weight of expectations. The golden magne, the perfect performer, the voice, the dance, the visuals. Over time, he stopped being just a member of a group and became a symbol, not only of K-pop, but of global youth culture. Every move he makes is read like a prophecy. When he returns to Threads in 2026, after military service periods and long silences, people don't ask, what did he post? They ask, what is he about to do? And the answer is terrifyingly open. Some fans believe the silence is a countdown. That Jungkook is building tension for a first post that will announce something massive. Maybe a date. Maybe a word. Maybe just a single emoji that will break the internet. Others believe this is about BTS. That behind closed doors, The group is preparing something that requires perfect timing. That Jungkook's account is a signal flare, a quiet one, but impossible to ignore. A way of telling the world, watch this space. The idea of a BTS comeback alone is enough to shake the industry. Every label, every chart, every stadium knows what happens when BTS moves again. If Jungkook's silence is connected to that, then this is not just marketing. It is a warning, but there is another possibility that scares people even more. What if this is about Jungkook alone? His solo success already proved that he doesn't need anyone to dominate charts. But what if he is preparing something beyond music? A film? A global brand? A collaboration that crosses not just genres but industries? Threads is not Instagram. It is not TikTok. It is not YouTube. It is a space for words, thoughts, presence. Why choose Threads for a silent return? Why not drop a teaser on the platforms where visuals rule? Some fans think the first post won't be a photo. They think it will be a sentence. Something simple. Something dangerous. Something like, "Are you ready?" Because that's what he's doing right now. He is making the world ask that question to itself. Even media outlets jumped on the story, calling it unbelievable that someone could gain over 14 million followers without content. They called it a phenomenon. They called it proof of unmatched influence. But even journalists sound confused. How you explain people following nothing? You explain it by understanding that Jungkook is not being followed for content. He is being followed for the future. Every second that passes without a post adds pressure. Every hour adds expectation. Every day makes the first post heavier, more dangerous, more powerful. If he posts something small, it will still feel huge. If he posts something big, it could change the year. This is why fans are nervous, because expectations can be cruel, and Jungkook has never been afraid of carrying them. Some army believe that this silence is a test. That Jungkook wants to see how many people will wait without reward, how many will follow without proof, how many still believe without seeing. And the answer, at 14.3 million and counting, is shocking. They all believe. They believe that silence means preparation. They believe that preparation means transformation. They believe that transformation means history. Look at the pattern of his career. Every time Jungkook disappears, he comes back changed. Older, stronger, sharper, more dangerous in his impact. He doesn't return to repeat himself. He returns to surprise. What kind of surprise needs this much silence? Some say it will be music that sounds nothing like before. Some say it will be a visual project that rewrites his image. Some say it will be a message about his future, his freedom, his direction. But maybe the biggest shock is simpler. Maybe Jungkook is teaching the world something, that in an age of noise, silence is the loudest weapon, that in a world of oversharing, mystery is power, that you don't need to beg for attention when attention is already yours. Every fan refreshing his page is part of the performance now. Every rumor, every theory, every tweet is free promotion. And Jungkook hasn't said a single word. That is not accident. That is mastery. When his first post finally comes, it won't just be content. It will be a release of pressure that has been building since the moment he clicked create account. It will be the answer to millions of private questions. Why now? Why Threads? Why silence? And maybe, just maybe, the answer will create even more questions, because Jungkook has never liked endings. He prefers beginnings that feel like explosions, until that first post appears. The world remains in a strange state of waiting. Not passive waiting, but emotional waiting. The kind where people imagine, hope, fear, and dream all at once. 14.3 million followers are not watching a page. They are watching a future. And when Jungkook finally breaks his silence, the real question won't be, what did he post? The real question will be, did we understand the silence at all? The silence continues to stretch, and with every hour that passes, it begins to feel less like waiting and more like standing in the eye of a storm. The world knows something is forming. The world just doesn't know its shape yet. Fans refresh the page not because they expect something new every minute, but because they are afraid of missing the moment it finally changes. That moment could come at dawn in Seoul, midnight in New York, or afternoon in Jakarta. There will be no warning.
No countdown. no teaser.
Just a notification that will ripple through the world faster than any breaking news alert. Jungkook posted. Those 2 words will travel like lightning. But until then, imagination rules everything. Some army believe the first post will be painfully simple. Just his name. Just a black screen. Just a single word like soon. And yet that simplicity would destroy timelines, crash apps, and dominate headlines. Because with Jungkook, meaning is not in complexity. It is in timing. Others believe he is planning something cinematic. A teaser video. A visual symbol. A concept that opens a new era. They imagine darkness, light, rebirth, fire, wings, chains breaking, doors opening. They imagine Jungkook not just as an idol, but as a storyteller who uses silence as the first chapter. But what makes this moment truly dangerous is not what he might post. It's what he might not post. There is a theory spreading quietly among fans. What if Jungkook stays silent much longer than anyone expects? What if this is not a short tease, but a long game? What if the silence itself is the message? In a world where celebrities post daily, even hourly, long silence feels unnatural. It creates anxiety. It creates obsession. It creates myth. And Jungkook, whether intentionally or instinctively, is becoming a myth again. Remember, this is the same artist who once deleted an account with over 50 million followers without explanation.
No apology.
No statement.
No regret.
Just gone. People thought it was impulsive. But now, looking back, it feels like training the world not to own him, training fans not to expect him on demand, training himself to move freely. So when he opens a new account and says nothing, maybe he is reminding everyone, you don't control the moment. I do. Media outlets keep repeating the number, 14.3 million, as if numbers alone can explain this phenomenon. But numbers don't explain emotion. They don't explain loyalty. They don't explain why people follow emptiness with more passion than they follow content. What explains it is history. Jungkook has never disappointed when it mattered. Every major return, every era shift, every transformation has felt worth the wait. Fans trust the pattern, even if they don't understand the plan. That trust is priceless and dangerous, because with that trust, Jungkook can move mountains by whispering or by not whispering at all. There is also a deeper emotional layer to this silence. Many fans grew up with BTS. They grew with Jungkook. They watched him change from a shy teenager into a global icon. His presence has been a constant through their own life changes: school, heartbreak, success, loss. When he disappears, it doesn't feel like a celebrity being quiet. It feels like someone important stepping out of the room. So when he returns, even silently, it feels like he has walked back in. Even if he hasn't spoken yet, that is why people follow the empty page. Not for content, for connection, for proof that he is there, for reassurance that something is coming. And somewhere, Jungkook knows this. He knows the power he holds. But he has never abused it loudly. He uses it quietly,
Carefully.
like someone who understands that too much noise can ruin magic. There are industry insiders who believe this silence is part of a larger, coordinated strategy. That behind the scenes, teams are preparing visuals, music, schedules, contracts, stages. That this Threads account is just the first visible crack in a wall that is about to fall. But there are also those who believe Jungkook is doing this alone. That this is not corporate strategy, but personal choice. That he wants to return on his own terms, in his own way, without pressure. If that is true, then this silence is not marketing. IT is freedom, and freedom is terrifying, because freedom means unpredictability. He could announce a global tour. He could drop a song without warning. He could reveal a collaboration no one saw coming. He could say nothing for months. He could disappear again. Every possibility is open. And that openness is what keeps people staring at a blank screen like it holds answers, because in a strange way, it does that. IT holds every version of the future at once. Fans argue online about what is most likely. Some are convinced this is about BTS returning together. They point to timing, to military schedules, to subtle hints from other members. They believe Jungkook's account is the first domino. Others argue just as strongly that this is a solo signal. That Jungkook is about to enter a new personal era, one that is darker, deeper, more global, more dangerous to the industry. And then there are those who believe the truth will be something no one has guessed, because Jungkook has never liked being predictable. When his first post finally appears, people will rush to analyze every pixel, every word, every second. They will ask, why this image? Why this time? Why this platform? Why now? But the real story will not start with the post. The real story started with the silence, with a blank page and 14.3 million people who chose to believe in it. So the world waits, not quietly, not calmly, but intensely, emotionally, imaginatively, waiting not just for content, waiting for a moment that might define the next era of Jungkook, and maybe the next era of global pop culture itself. Because when someone can shake the world by saying nothing, what happens when he finally speaks?